What's up, guys? Gonna go over the story of where I began working out, lifting, and kind of how we got to where we're at today. So it's gonna be a little bit longer of a video here, but I'm gonna go over from day one. So when I was in 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade, always played basketball growing up. So parents got us like a little weightlifting set for the basement. We always had our friends over the house and just kind of working out and stuff like that. Once I got into probably the summer of 2001, we signed up at a gym. It's called the Body Factory. It was up in Constitution Avenue by Penargil. I remember going online for the first time and getting, I think it was workouts.com, I forget what it was, but I had every workout. It was like 3 pages long. I'd go up there for like 2-3 hours, hit every exercise that this paper had it all printed out. I remember one day, I want to say basketball started in November that year. So in September, they asked me to join the powerlifting team. So it was like September 1st, 2001. I remember benching 120 pounds for 10 times for my first time. So what was cool about that is after high school, I'd walk down, work out, then I'd walk home, or I walked to my grandmother's house, who lived in Penargil. And then I wait till my mom got out of school to come pick me up. And then I remember on the weekends and stuff like that, I used to ride my bike up, I forget, a 2-3 mile ride, just to go up and work out and train. I never liked squatting with the powerlifting team because I was scared. I was a little guy. I was 145 pounds. I was like 14 years old at the time, 15 years old. But my first competition was that December, 2001. I remember competing against, it was at Nazareth Barbell, which we ended up actually purchasing the equipment for Nazareth Barbell, so that's has a long story history with myself. So started competing there, and after that, gave up all sports, and I was like, you know what? I can be as good as I want to be at this sport, powerlifting, or I can be as bad as I want to be at it. And I know I have to put the work in to be the best. So I got second place at that competition in December. After that, I think I competed in February that year. It was at Teenage Nationals. There was hundreds of kids there, and I remember seeing these kids come in, and man, they were strong. Oh man. But I had in my head set that I can do this. I can be as good as I want to be at this if I put the work in to do it. It means I had to show up when the guys were squatting. Get my balls busted a little bit, which is okay, but that's where it all starts, all right? And yeah, I forgot my other meets there, but the gym actually ended up moving in Bangor here, and you know, I actually started working there. It was my sophomore year, started training people there. So it's 2002, started training people in and out all day long. Used to ride my bike down to the gym. Still wasn't driving yet, but just giving people workouts, working out. I want to say 2 years, probably my junior year, I left that powerlifting team, I think when I started to get my license, and I joined Nazareth Barbell, which was Mike Miller's gym. And once I started training there, that's when my lifting career really took off. I remember when I was 18 years old, oh man, had a couple IPA world records. That's the only federation we competed in, was the IPA. So I always had world records in those federations for the age groups. Weight class, I was 163 pounds. So once I started driving and stuff, I get my paycheck from work. I would drive down to Barnes & Nobles, and I would sit there for an hour or two. I'd get all the Powerlifting USA magazines, and I would see like the top world record holders in the world. We didn't have the internet at the time, so I got to see like, holy cow, like I'm ranked 78th in the world in squat, 78th in bench, whatever it is. But every year they had a top 20 in the teenagers. And I remember, I think it was my senior year when I broke the 18-19 165 record, squatted 565, benched 375, and deadlifted 505. And my total was 1445 as a senior in high school, and I had 3 of those records. So I want to say 2 of those ranked me second in the world for the teenagers competitions. So that was pretty cool. I'd always go down and check that stuff out. But as I started doing that and started lifting, people were like, how's this kid getting so strong? I want to work out with him. I want to train with him. So I was still working at the Body Factory at the time. And this is where kind of took off from there. So Friday nights we get a group of my friends together. We go to GNC, we buy ABV energy drinks. I think they're Speed Stacks. There's a Fedra in them. Oh my God, it was crazy. We used to go to the gym and just train. We used to call it the Midnight Monsters. We had a CD put on, we'd squat, we'd bench, we'd deadlift, we'd have a blast. And then football team wanted me to go out for the football team that year because I benched 315 raw my senior year. And people were just like, how's this kid getting so strong? And I think once I got out of high school like that, I forget when we transitioned over here, but when we were at Nazareth, and this is a big point here too, is we used to bench on Saturday mornings all the time. So every Saturday morning I'd get up, I forget, it was like 11 or 2 o'clock we'd bench there, but from every Saturday morning, weight classes throughout the entire country, not the world, not the United States, the country, there would be top 10, top 15, top 5 guys every Saturday. It was just incredible to be in there and be like, wow, that's so-and-so, he was number 1. Wow, that's so-and-so, he's number 2. And I used to travel around with these guys, and we go to Chicago. I remember driving 16 hours in a car with one of the guys that was competing for 16 hours. I remember going down to Florida and just learning and educating myself and building my mind of like, wow, this is crazy. You'd meet the top lifters in the world. And then I started going to school and stuff like that. And then the Body Factory ended up moving where actually we're at now, our Iron Core is. And that's when I started my own little powerlifting team here. It was called Team Papa Flex. We'd have 15 to 20 guys here. There was no charge for anybody. We just come in and work out. And I would say I would be like 19, 20 years old at the time. And we would just compete all over the place. World record holders, raw lifters, so many kids here just getting stronger, setting world records, football, baseball, basketball, wrestling, any sport. And a lot of them just got into powerlifting just to be world record holders. So that was like 22, 23 years old there. After that, where the heck were you at there? I think I met Carrie Ann in there in the beginning there, maybe the end of 2008, 2009. I'd say probably like 2010, 11-ish. That's when we started to look into doing something different, okay? So May of 2012, that's the day I was looking for. That is when we decided, you know what, we're gonna open up our own gym. I remember being at the local fitness facility over here, working out by myself, and I brought like 10 kids with me. And then we'd be going to the park and working out at the park, training in the park. I made sandbags, medicine balls, kegs full of water, PVC pipes full of water. We'd be sprinting the hills, climbing the trees, doing sprints up the hills, all this stuff. I'd bring my I had a John Deere wagon with a Cub Cadet tractor. We pulled up to the park and we just work out for an hour or two. The ropes, battle ropes, all that stuff there. And then, Carrie Ann was probably 4 months pregnant when I was like, hey, I'm gonna open up a gym and we're gonna do this full time. And it was just like, it was crazy. But I remember the day when we opened May 1st, I was like, nobody came. I was like, this is crazy. I thought once you open the doors, everybody's gonna come. But there was, within the top 10 people that came in that gym, Mikey Camino, who's one of the kids I'll always talk about, was a wrestler at Pius. I started training him when I was at the old gym in 7th grade, so he would have been in 9th grade there. He was a state runner-up his senior year. He finished 3rd in the state. Wrestled with a broken rib and bronchitis his senior year. At that match, we were actually out in Hershey watching him. That was one of the coolest things I ever got to see, but I trained him right up through from 123 pounds up to 152 pounds, just getting him stronger, ready for the sport. Jake Sutton is another one I can think of he'd actually ride his bike down from the gym. He lived up the other end of Constitution Avenue. He'd ride down to, we're on the bottom of Applegate Avenue, down from Penardrel. Ride his bike, work out, ride home. And I remember he used to catch slack for coming down and working out and going up to school and working out, but you know what? The kid was as strong as an ox. And football coaches loved him because he was strong. He moved people around. And that's when it kind of all started there. We started getting these kids in here and realizing like, wow, this is crazy. Matt Camilletti was a Division I AA football player. You can look up his testimonials here. He was so gung-ho about, what Iron Corps did for him when we opened up and how the training and stuff really worked out for him. Adrian Bernard, he was at Susquehanna. He played at Pius. He went to Susquehanna on a full ride. He ended up going up to Canada, play football for a while up there. Bunch of high school kids there that ended up going to play college baseball. A lot of college football kids. Lyndon Ewing, whose uncle was Patrick Ewing, who played for the New York Knicks. I remember training him, and I think for 2 weeks we were working with him, and all of a sudden, like, he was just dominating his sport because he was so mentally strong, and his confidence was through the roof of what he could do mentally by just working out and taking care of his body. That was one of the big ones there. We were there for probably about 8-9 months, and then we ended up moving over here we're at now, Iron Corps in Roseto. And just kids coming through the door. Austin Heisler, he started training with me when he was 8th grade. His senior year, he was actually an all-state defensive end. He was another kid who trained with me at the park. He'd go to the school, he'd work out, go to the football workouts, and then come down and train with us afterwards. Kid just had a motor on that would just not stop. When I was on Applegate Avenue, which is in Penardrel, the Pius football kids would actually walk over from Pius to train with me over there. Destin Woody and Aaron Weller and Trey Jordan, they all went to play on college sports after that. But the commitment level was through the roof there. Bunch of the Easton kids, Easton football players, used to take the 217 Metro bus up. They would get dropped off at the local ice cream place. They'd walk up to the gym, and we'd work out for an hour. I think they needed an hour and a half because the bus only came certain times. They pay $1 to get on. There were like 6 or 7 of them. Boom, they walk back down. They would train in the morning, go to school, come train with me at nighttime. These kids just all went on to play college sports. It's amazing to see like that commitment level they had. Just trying to think of other kids through the years. There's tons and tons of kids that have walked through the doors here. But when we moved over here to Iron Corps, over now in Roseto, it's incredible to see, the messages we get from the parents of what you did for their kids and how working out and getting mentally stronger propelled them for life. I'm talking Navy SEALs, going in the Army, the military, the Coast Guard. There's so many different things. Naval Academy, West Point, a couple kids from West Point there. But it's cool to tell my story, where I came from and how I was around the top guys in the country, in the world, that I got to train with and learn from, and not be scared. And yeah, I'm always going to be the weakest guy there. That's okay, but I want to get better. And I try to bring that mentality to what we're doing today. A couple other kids there. Antonia Bates, she plays at Rutgers. She started with me when we opened down our Nazareth gym, probably her sophomore year. She ended up going to Rutgers Prep her senior year, and ended up going to Rutgers, and she's still at Rutgers right now. She was dating a guy named Jai Smith, he was with the Overtime Elite. It was a new basketball foundation, federation, whatever you want to call it, down in, I want to say down south somewhere. So he came up a couple times. Jai actually went on to try out for a few NBA teams, and he ended up going to play overseas right now. So I keep in touch with him from time to time. And then she actually ended up dating Derek Lively, who played at Duke University, 7'1", Derek Lively. He came up, I think, 3 or 4 times. I got to train with him and work with him a little bit. And like I said, these are guys that have just come in here, I got to talk to, just be amazed at like learning the level of where these guys are at mentally, physically, emotionally, and how they handle this stuff. And just hearing him talk about, Penny Hardaway was one of my idols growing up for the Orlando Magic, and when he was getting recruited to go to Duke, I was like, he said Memphis was really hard on him, and I said, well, that's where Penny's at. And he's like, yeah, man, he would call me up and this and that, and I'm like, man, oh man, this is crazy. Like, you think you're there, but he's there. Like, it's at the top level of the game. But Derek ended up getting drafted for the Dallas Mavericks last year, and he's still playing in the NBA right now, which is really cool. Another guy, Andre Jackson, was a junior at East Stroudsburg South. came down with me for a couple months, had an awesome junior, senior year, ended up going to play at a Division II college. I think it was a junior college or Division II, I forget. And now he's playing professional basketball overseas. It's pretty cool to see that. I keep in touch with him from time to time. You know, when he wants to come back in and work out. I love keeping in touch with his dad and, you know, seeing how these guys really succeed. Sammy Vera is another one. Sammy played football at Notre Dame Green Pond. He's came in after his ACL tear. I forget when he had that done, but I want to say he's either sophomore or junior year, and worked out with us and stuff, and just got so strong. Had an awesome freaking senior year. Ended up going to play at Albright. Had a phenomenal career there, and now he's playing overseas professionally. I think he's in Germany right now, so it's really hard to keep track of all these guys where they're going in life, but it's cool to hear back from them and, you know, thank them and, you know, thank me for, you know, what one thing I gave them, you know, no matter what it is, if it's, you know, a workout they did, or, you know, something specific that I told them. And it's the same thing when we go up to the sports with the schools and, you know, talk to the teams and stuff like that, explaining to them like, hey, you know, given these little speeches here and there about, you know, you don't get next year might not come, 2 years might not come, so why don't we go all in now? And, you know, let's close our eyes and think about that and visualize these things. And these things go a long way with just not sports, but with life in general too. So we preach that to all the kids, the athletes we do. There's so many more athletes, I can't even begin to think of all of them there, but it's cool to be able to look back and see like who has walked through the door here, who was just some random person, but now he's a best friend, or now he's a professional athlete, or, you know, whatever they are in life. You know, if you guys follow UFC, Carmelo was a UFC fighter for years. Local guy, he comes in, he's been benching with me on Saturday mornings for almost 2 years going on now. So here's another guy who's at the top level of the game here and can kind of give you like, hey, this is what it takes, this is what I did, and you can kind of learn from that, where these are things you're not going to learn in the books, you know, so these are very educational things you can see. I could go on and on and on about kids and people who've trained over the years. I mean, it's incredible to see. I mean, we've got our wall out there of athletes who've come in. Michaela Bates, another one there at St. Francis, Division I soccer. Montana Ott, Cheyenne Ott, they came through here from Bangor. Bloomsburg and with Westchester, you know, Division I, Division II field hockey programs. You know, working with girls right now, they're all signed up for college, Division I, Division II colleges and stuff like that. But oh, I forgot about Nate Voorhees, another one. Nate is he's at University of UConn right now. Football player, played at Strasburg. He's like, hearing him talk as a senior, the first day I met him, you'd think he was 23, 24 years old, who has everything together in life at that age, where now he's like, Chris, I need to be around the best because I want to be the best. I know what it's going to take to go to that next level, where now that's where the work is going to start. And, you know, working up that way there, I need to get better. I need to play against the best. I can't go work out with these little kids here because my goals are so much bigger than this, and I need to be able to push myself, and that's why I'm here. And, you know, last year, like I said, he was playing football up at UConn, and it's a job. It's a full-time job. You know, Division I college, you wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, you got stuff going on all day long. You know, 10 o'clock at night, you're finally getting to bed. Next day, it's all over again. So everybody thinks it's cool getting that Division I level, but at the end of the day, it's like, that's when the work starts. You know, it's easy to get there. Trust me, it is. You just gotta want it, you gotta work, you gotta put the effort into it, and you can get there. But when you get there, that's when the work actually starts, because you know what? You're lazy, you miss practice, you don't want to be there, boom, over and done with. So, Nazareth Strength and Fitness, bought that during 2020. Be 4 years old this year already. It's crazy how time flies. Iron Core Athlete will be 12 years old in May 1st this year. Only getting stronger, only getting better here. You know, working with adults from every ailment under the sun. You know, explaining to people that you can be as strong as you want to. You know, age is no number. Age is just a number. There's no limit on what you can and can't do. You know, it's just stopping yourself mentally it's going to shut you down. You know, if we didn't learn anything these past 4 years during COVID, life can switch very fast. So these moments we get right now, I'm always like, take full advantage of it. Do everything we can in our power to be the best we can be. But yeah, make sure you guys check us out online. Iron Core Athlete, Nazareth Strength and Fitness. Those are our two babies. Carrie and myself are running those two. Full-time owners, running them full-time. Whatever we can do to help you guys out, we're here. We got every tool in the toolbox here to get you stronger, faster, bigger, lose weight, gain weight, nutrition, open gyms. Just need a place to work out, mental toughness, you name it, we got it. So many years and years and years of just education and, you know, traveling around the world, learning from other coaches, and paying lots and lots of money to, you know, go to seminars and learn from other coaches. Goes a long way there, and, you know, bring that back here to the lab, as they like to say, because you want to see what you're learning, and you could, you know, bring it here and see what it does for you. So appreciate you guys watching this. The Iron Core story, man, it continues.